Welcome everybody today to another episode of Bob Bitchin' 66, where today I'll be testing my metal at a different part of Willow Springs, which will be the street track, and it is something. Like last week, Willow Springs is the track where once you go off the dirt, things get really crazy, and here you're really going to see that it's going to be a lot more technical when it comes into the turns. So as you can already see, a lot more turns coming through this track, and a lot of like hairpins almost as you come around these turns. And I'm driving a Honda NSX, so we're back in production cars. I'm slipping and sliding everywhere, and it's just going to be a little bit rough, let's be honest. It's going to be really about controlling my weight around this track and trying to make sure that I can do everything I can to not slip off. Here is one of the more distinct parts. It's like a long, kind of like a quarter turn, half turn. I don't know the correct terminology for it, but really just got to focus on your lines here, making sure that you're being able to keep your speed, and especially through this high-speed section, which is actually a really great point here. So you really got to just kind of throw your weight into there, kink around, and then slam on the brakes. And I even go a little too deep. I hit a little bit of a cone, but thankfully don't get a penalty on that one. And I'm just going to slide it around here as I'm essentially just drifting at this point around, trying to get around this track. As you can see, just from time trials, it's going to be quite a ride as we take it into the actual race. So 126, not a good track for me in terms of qualifying. And here's an example of what I mean by that high-speed turn here, where if you don't get the angle right coming through, you're going to instantly be out into the water, and I'm already just not very happy with how that slide went, taking that penalty. So onto the race though. Here I'm starting out in 10th place, not 10th, 9th, starting out in 9th place. And I'm going to get a couple positions right here from the start, but things, as you can tell, are already going crazy through this track as we're just trying to get around these small turns and trying to do what I can to get around here. I'm staying on the outside, trying to play it safe. I get nudged from the back. Out into the ether I go, and with that, any chance of redemption in this race taken away from me. So I'm mad. It's time to race the dirtiest race I've ever raced in Gran Turismo sport. Well, that didn't quite work out how I expected, so gonna try again one more time here, starting in 8th place, back in the NSX, and this race hopefully gonna go a little bit better than my last rage-induced fuel of hatred from getting nudged in the back and sent out into the ether. So coming out and playing it safe, I play it a little too wide, going a little bit on the dirt, but I'm able to stay away from the cars here. Unfortunately, I get a little bit too happy with my position, and I kind of nudge that yellow NSX a little bit in. I give him the position back as I go a little bit off the dirt, but he goes right off the dirt too, so I'm right back where I started. And I'm already up to 5th place, going in the first 30 seconds of this race. Just 4th place getting a little bit squirrely. I'm trying to do what I can to stay behind him, and really, you want to try grabbing a slipstream, obviously, on any track in Gran Turismo Sport, but you do what you can here. I mean, everything is really based on turns at this track, so it almost comes down to more about being where your angles are and what you can do to really just capitalize on what angle you're coming into turns and how you can really utilize that speed. So grabbing the slipstream here as I come through the high speed section, try to go for a little bit of a late break, but fourth place was not buying it. Coming in, red car right behind me, he goes a little too far wide, and so I'm able to get a good gap from him as I keep pushing fourth as I come through here. Clip a little bit to the right, try to get on the inside, but not trying to conflict him, and we're still going to be in fifth place going into lap 2. So 5 laps in this race and quite a bit of time to go. So fourth place getting a little squirrely on the drift right there. I tried to go on the outside, coming for a potential cutback, but not going to get it. I'm going to be right behind him. Try to go for an inside maneuver where really should be staying outside through this track. He goes a little too wide into the dirt, and I am going to be able to get that pass on him and grab a position. 133 is the lap I'm going off. I'm really trying to capitalize on that. Hopefully with the less traffic, I'm able to get some better lap times out of here. Taking a little bit of the dirt, giving a little bit of error on the risky side. You know, I'm trying to do what I can to capitalize my seat. Sixth place goes way off into the dirt. Not going to be able to keep his position in fourth place at all. So coming into this long straight here, so far no penalties. Everything's looking good. I got a pretty good gap to the red NSX behind me. I'm going to take this corner pretty safely as I can. Really hit my braking point right there at that bend and play it pretty well. Coming around the outside of that cone, I'll take a little bit of the clip into the dirt. Third and second, I go way too into the dirt, and I am going to unfortunately grab a half a second penalty. Nothing too crazy. I've got third place with a full second penalty in front of me, so I'm not too nervous about that. Really what I'm trying to do is just play safe. I'm really betting that third and second place are going to have some trouble fighting for that position, and I'm going to be able to gain some time on that. So playing it safe here, coming around turn 1. No cars to worry about when it comes to hitting me off the track, so right now I'm just capitalizing on my angles, trying to keep as much speed as I can, and hoping that there's going to be some scuffle about ahead of me. And really, Willow Springs, it's a very interesting track. I really enjoy the original, Willow Springs, but this street track definitely can get pretty crazy. It almost makes me want to take like the go-kart out here and see what I can do. Maybe I'll go ahead and throw a time trial of that next time I take a spin at Willow. But it's just such a technical track, because once you go off into the dirt, if you don't get auto reset by the game, you're essentially just out for good. And dusty tires are never a good thing to do when you're trying to corner at very high speeds. So as you can see, I'm still keeping an amazing gap from fifth place in front of me. I'm not going to be too worried about him at all. Really making sure that I get a perfect angle here and I'm not clipping the dirt like I did before to give me another penalty. And with that, we are going to be going into lap 4. Got a new best time. 126 seems to be where I'm kind of plateauing in terms of my times, which reflects my qualification. So nothing too much to see from lap 4. We're going to go into lap 5. There's a pretty solid gap now to third place in front of me. Unfortunately, not much I can do there. It's really just going to come down to playing it safe, making sure that I'm not going to send myself into the dirt. I clip a little bit of the dirt right there, which I'm a little nervous that it could affect my braking into that turn, but so far so good. I come a little close to the cones, but nothing too crazy, and going to err on the positive side of really staying away from that dirt. As you can see, I pull like a full straight line, and I try to just capitalize on whatever I can coming back into the final turn of the race, where I'll be finishing in 4th place with a minute 24 lap. 11-second gap to the lead, and about 6 seconds ahead of me to get to 3rd. So podium was not in my future. But regardless, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the track.